Okay, welcome you guys. Welcome. My name is Chloe Bellatori. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a relationship and communication expert. I'm a graduate of Princeton University and Pat Allen's Want Institute. Pat Allen was my mentor, and I use a lot of the tools that she taught me. I also use the tools of transactional analysis as created by Eric Byrne. And I use tools that I've created myself because I've been doing this work for over 10 years. I am 20 years married. Well, just about 21 years married, actually. Um, I found this work myself when I was about 10 years in and my marriage was struggling. Though a lot of people come to this work as singletons, and that's what really attracted me to this work is I saw a tremendous transformation in a neighbor, where she went from being like a single mom and always struggling, never really having a steady partner, never really having a steady income. And within a few years, really had a dramatic transformation in her life, went to making, over $1 million a year, married this amazing guy, the guy of her dreams. And so when I saw that, I thought that, give me some of that. I want to find out what she's doing. And so that was my entry point into this work. Um, for me at the time, I wasn't even sure what I was unhappy about, but doing this work helped me discover that. And it's meant to provoke a catharsis because that's how we really grow and how we really heal. My specialty is dating and relationships, but the ultimate relationship is really the one that you have with yourself. So a lot of this work comes back to that. Um, when we talk about relationships, we are talking a lot, often, especially about problems in relationships. We're often talking about childhood trauma and the results of childhood trauma, whether that's trauma with a big T or a small t. Um, just being a child in itself can be traumatic because you come into an existing situation as kind of an immigrant, right? Um, so this when we have any kind of childhood trauma that causes us to become imbalanced, and that threatens the health of our relationships. Everything is really the key to relationships is really about balance and having those two complementary energies, the yin energy and the yang energy. Everybody is both. Everybody is masculine, everybody is feminine, and everybody has their own unique balance within themselves that may be shifting and flowing just like the yin yang symbol throughout their lives. For example, as women get older, we become more masculine because we have drop offs in estrogen. As men get older, they tend to be and enter andropause, they tend to become more yin or feminine because they have a drop off in testosterone. So these aren't fixed qualities, but it's helpful to understand your own masculine and feminine sides. And if you have a very strong masculine side and a very strong feminine side, that means you're having arguments between your heart and your head. And that also is the definition of an alpha, okay? So alphas aren't bullies. A lot of people think alphas are bullies and they're dominant and domineering, but actually alphas are those who have a strong feminine side and a strong masculine side. And that is why this work is so appealing to alphas because it helps give you a rubric for decision making. Because when your heart and your head are always arguing, it's harder to make decisions. Mm. Okay, so what are feminine and masculine? There's a lot of misunderstanding about these terms, and they're loaded terms. Let's face it. Look, you can have a perfectly happy, healthy relationship between a feminine man and a masculine woman. So it's really not about organs as much as it is about energy. Okay. And you might even be more masculine with one person and more feminine with another person. Sometimes I have clients who go back and forth who will sometimes try a relationship or at least just dating a person in their feminine, and then they'll try dating a person in their masculine and see which one is feels more authentic. Um, okay, so feminine qualities. This is the right side of the brain. This is the world of feelings, of creativity, of spirituality, sensuality, sexuality. It is receiving, it is passive, patient, vulnerable. Um, Feminine energy is in the world to make it fun, but it's not of the world. Okay. It's the realm of magic, relating. These are the feminine traits. Okay. Masculine or yang energy. This is very linear, logical. The world of ideas. Most of us are in our masculine at work because we're competing, conquering, controlling, right? We're making decisions, we're achieving. Masculine energy is giving, nurturing, taking care of, advocating. It's the world of ideas. It's very much of this world. A good metaphor for masculine energy is our bricks, and a good energy metaphor for feminine energy is flowers. Okay. And if you want to learn more about yin and yin yang values, there's a wonderful book by Dr. Kim and Dr. Lee. Here, I'll put it in the chat, called The Yin Yang of Life. And it really breaks down everything on the planet between yin and yang, masculine, feminine. I mean, foods, wines, weather, colors. So every time I look at that book, I learn or see something new. So those are the definitions that we are working with. Obviously yin and yang philosophy is thousands and thousands of years old. Then we also have the studies of Roger Sperry, who was the one who proved that we have these two different hemispheres of the brain. So this work is very multidisciplinary in that it brings in science, it brings in psychology. Carl Jung defining consciousness as this balance between feminine and masculine. It brings in philosophy. We can see these principles reflected in reality television, in literature, in the people who are talking at the table next to us having a conflict. And when you understand these dynamics, you really have an edge in communicating and understanding what is happening between two people. And so I know that one of the things that people really I'm always asked about red flags. And so this work, while it doesn't prevent you from getting hurt or rejected or being vulnerable, it does mitigate it. Because one of the effects of childhood trauma is that we're often scripted to see certain things and ignore other things. And so this work helps you unwrap your scripting, reveal your scripting to yourself so that you can see things more clearly. A lot of times we have all the options and all the answers in front of us, and maybe even the love of our life, but we can't see it because of our scripting. And I had a really great experience with a client pretty recently where, she had dated this guy a few times and she was saying, I don't know, Chloe, he's not really, I don't know if I like him or not. I mean, yes, he checks a lot of my boxes. By the way, you don't get everything. Like 60 to 70% is great. He checks a lot of my boxes, but I don't know if the chemistry's there. And so she ended up telling him, ah, you know, I think we're going to just be friends. But she stayed in contact with this guy because she was thinking about doing a work collaboration with him. And ultimately, she was communicating and being with him, and she started to think maybe she was wrong. Maybe the chemistry was building a little bit. And so I encouraged her to kiss him and see how it went, or to receive a kiss because she wants to be in the feminine. And it was like fireworks. So, it was a situation in which she had almost counted this guy out. And now they've been together for quite a while. They're getting married. He's very wealthy. She's designing the house. So it's been a really big success story. And I just use that example because, sometimes we have such fixed ideas in our head that they tend to make us myopic. So anytime you're looking at like absolutes and your thinking is like never and always, and I never meet anyone, or everyone who likes me, I don't like, and everyone I like doesn't like me, that's when you know you're in a script. And it's not really reality, but it's based on the survival conclusions you made as a child that were really just strategies to get along with the people who own the refrigerator. They're not really existential truths. And so a lot of my work is unwrapping and unwinding those beliefs, because when they occur between the ages of 0 and 12, they have a greater valence or power over us. And so it takes a while. Look, Freud thought that you were cooked by age 3, basically. Now we know that the brain is plastic, the brain can change. There's a great book about that too. Um, The Brain That Changes Itself by Norman Deutsch. And he's a neuroscientist. I'm pretty sure he's in the Los Angeles area, actually. But it's a lot about stroke victims, but you can also apply it to any kind of change that you're doing in your brain. And when we do this work, that's what we're doing. We're changing our thoughts, we're changing our beliefs, we're opening up to new ways of being. A lot of times that is more painful than we anticipate, because change is inherently painful, even change for the better. And I think that's something that is greatly misunderstood. Um, a lot of times people start making changes and things are going well. And especially when you start this work, you often see results very quickly. And things are going well and everything's going great. And then suddenly you hit like you hit a issue or a bump in the road, and that can be anything. I was talking last week about a client that is just learning how to relax. So for her, a bump in the road is actually relaxing, because that's triggering her hypervigilance, right? Because she's been taught that she can't relax. She can't, from childhood, with her parents always fighting. And she just learned that there was always going to be another shoe dropping. So why the hell should she relax? Well, obviously, that's not true in adult life. The other shoe isn't always dropping. But if you hold that belief, that will become your reality, or it becomes your reality. And so I help people when they get stuck on an issue move through that. Um, and like I said, it's been a painful process for her to learn to relax. And it sounds crazy and it sounds ironic and nutty, but because she's always been valued for work and for her achievements, which for a woman is dystonic, or a feminine energy person, it's dystonic. She's finding it very hard to stop achieving, because the fear is, of course, that then she will be valueless. So women actually are the opposite. Women need to feel good to do good. Men need to do good to feel good. So when men become dystonic, it's usually because they've been neglected or they've been spoiled, but in some way they haven't received the respect and the responsibility they needed in childhood. So they never grow up. So the prototype for that, or the archetype for that, is often Peter Pan, and then the reverse is the Wendy. So those are very common scripts that I work with, common dystonic scripts. I've written 3 books on this work as well. I'm going to put some of my credentials in the meetup. So if you guys are interested in learning more about this work, you can do that. I also teach this work several times a year. We just finished an introduction for this. Why is it doing that? Okay. We just finished the module 1 introduction. We'll probably be starting the module 2 soon. But you can sign up for that under module packages. It's just a really great way we work in a smaller group. It's longer. I do a little deeper information, and then everyone gets a chance to apply those theories to their lives, because I'm really about getting results for you guys. And so everything has to be applied and be useful for it to even really be discussed. That was one of my frustrations when I was going through a lot of my struggles and was going to therapy and trying to get answers was, it's great. You tell somebody your problems and that's nice. Somebody listens and they reflect you, but ultimately things don't really change. And so that's why I love this work, is because you really get to see change. So yeah, so that's a good introduction to this work, or those modules. You check out my website of collateral there, TikTok, Instagram, all that. So that is there for you guys. And now my favorite part, I'm going to take your questions. Look, I work with men, I work with women, I work with couples, I work with teenagers. You can ask me about dating, you can ask me about relationships, you can ask me about communication, work problems, family problems. I also love to hear your updates, because when we share these things, it just deepens the work. And it's not just about listening to me. Then I often give homework. You got to then go do the homework. That's part of the experience. Okay. Hi, Lee.
Hey there.
How's it going?
All right. Well,
Okay, I'm not hearing a cheery
oh,
voice.
I just wanted to give you an update on the karaoke person.
Yes, what's happening? Did you ask her out this week?
Yes.
Yay!
First of all, I was not nervous at all.
Good.
I went in and it
Okay.
felt like normal. I've spent 2 months just kind of getting to know this person. I went to see a one woman show she's in, and I just, some synchronicities had happened. And I thought I was getting a lot of green lights, and I think she's just a great person. And I thought Tuesday night, I felt like it's time. We sang the song. We did the duet together like we planned last week. We did the song from Little Shop of Horrors. It's a duet called
Cute.
Suddenly Seymour. We did that together. And after we finished, I went over to her and I was down on one knee as she was working a machine. And I used the technique and I asked her, how would you feel about meeting me for coffee or drinks or getting some dinner sometime?
Mm-hmm.
I will never, ever forget the look on this woman's face. And it was just one of complete and utter disgust for me. It was like, if I could write that expression into words, it was like saying, oh no, he likes me type look. I
Okay.
mean, she just kind of repulsed by the question.
What
And
did she say anything?
yes, she turned back to me and she said, actually, I'm I already have a partner. And
Okay.
so I said, oh, you got a boyfriend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I presume boyfriend. Because I guess
Right.
it could mean either. It
It
could
could
mean
be a girlfriend.
it could
Yeah.
be a girlfriend. It doesn't have to mean that.
Right.
Um, and so for the next 3 minutes, I don't remember what happened. All I remember is words were coming out of my mouth and it was all a blur. And I'm stammering probably some nonsense about following a script. I can't remember what I said. I just sort of stepped away politely and paid for my drinks. And I went to another bar and had a few drinks because I took it pretty hard.
Okay.
Um, and it was humiliating. It was,
But
um,
why? She has another person in her life, she
I
said.
know that, but I did this in front of people and there were, and
But you did nothing wrong.
I
You
know
did
that now.
nothing to be ashamed of. That's what I want to
You know,
get through to you. Even though
well,
she didn't say yes, that means you didn't, that doesn't mean you did something wrong.
I know that, but I'm kind of like one of these rescue dogs who's been through the rejection so many times. I feel things very deeply, and and my way of processing is to just retreat from the world and cry, and it's it's in the moment it was hurting so much I couldn't see the forest for the trees,
Okay.
and you think you did everything wrong in that
Mm-hmm.
moment. You think you did.
But that's the scripting.
And
That's
so,
the childhood scripting. That's what it's convenient. Okay.
it's also just from the years of those goddamn dating apps where you get swiped and ghosted so many times. I just want to shoot the fucking technology, these stupid dating apps, man, they will mess you up. The reason I'm proud of myself, I mean,
I'm
it's
incredibly proud of you. And we knew this was going to be a trigger. It was already a trigger. So I'm
it's
really glad that you went for it and went all the way with it and asked
I,
her out.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been processing it for a couple days, and I think the reason I'm really proud of myself is because the more I think about it, I actually did everything right, probably
Mm-hmm.
for the first time in years.
Mm-hmm.
I took 2 months just to get to know this person as a person and to feel the situation out. And I finally used these tools, and I had the courage to actually, in an ethical, nice human way. It was just
Yes.
ethical, respectful, you know, and tactful and all that. How did I know? I didn't have a clue. I mean, there have been several times where the subject of a possible date or partner has come up. She never said anything. So I had no clue
Well,
she'd.
that's why I'm kind of thinking, because she used the word partner, that she's probably not heterosexual.
Well, I'll tell you about that. Interesting what happened at lunch today. I found out today from a friend I had lunch with. It is a guy.
Oh, it is. Oh,
There's
okay.
a guy, she said. Yeah, because this is all people in the karaoke community where I live.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you, yeah, it hurts. It hurts a lot. But I somehow feel, in a weird way, I feel stronger.
Yes.
And I feel more human in spite of the pain. It's like it sucks, but
Because you did something that you wanted regardless of the pain. And so that builds your self-confidence and self-esteem. And
yeah,
it's you're
and I
triggered.
could
Look, we
they could
have
tell.
to, yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
My friend, when I left to go to the other bar, there's another place that has karaoke. And I'll tell y'all, man, you got friends when people can tell you're down and they come up and say, "Is everything okay? How you doing, man?" And they could tell I was going through a rough time, and
Mm-hmm.
I had so many people come up that, just reassuringly, compassionately. And that's when I said, that's how you got friends and people care about you and stuff. And I feel like the pattern, the wound is coming from the pattern of so many rejections and getting shut
It's
down
coming from the
and,
childhood.
and
It's the
making
child.
it.
Every time we're triggered, it's not ever what's really happening in that moment. It's triggering, by definition, is a trigger back, is a hearkening back to the original wound. So it's touching the wound that you had as a child that still needs healing. That's why you're having such a big reaction to it. Because
But
when
also too,
children,
Chloe, this is being me very transparent with everybody here as strangers, but I have just, it's happened so many times, honey, that I just think I'm too complex of a person for a relationship. I
no,
don't
no,
think I
no,
can do
no,
it.
no. There's a
I'm too
lid for
complex.
every pot.
I'm too sensitive. I'm too complex. And I would have found somebody by now. I'm not going to tell my age, but it's
No,
just
no,
feel
no.
like,
I have clients in their 80s. No, I know you're not 80.
but I still feel like
I
that
know.
I
It's
would have found
touching.
someone by now. And I just don't think I have the groove or the finesse or whatever it takes to maintain a relate the stamina.
I mean, at
It's
least
just
you found out that she didn't lie to you.
no, but I should have. I never saw the smile and eye contact in the beginning, and I should have listened to that.
Oh, okay. That's a good point.
I was just getting to know her, and I thought she was a nice person, but I thought she kind of might be warming up to me with little things. Oh, and those damn synchronicities I kept seeing. So
And
much
that
of that.
doesn't mean that look, just because it didn't work out the way you wanted to, it doesn't mean you did anything wrong or that there's anything wrong with you. Those are assumptions that we make in childhood when we have to attach to our parents and
I've
sacrifice
had,
our
I've had
authenticity.
I've had so many women try to correct me and tell me everything I've done wrong. and everything I've done wrong. And it just destroys my self-confidence when
Well, we're not going to talk to those women, right? Those aren't women that you're looking for.
but
You
I'm just,
found someone that was feminine. You didn't get the eye contact, but you were building a friendship with her, and it turned out she has a boyfriend. That's all that happened. You weren't
yeah,
even
I
really
wish I had
rejected.
known. It would have been nice to know that before I asked her out,
No, no, no,
but
you weren't
it just didn't,
rejected. This whole
well,
story, now I'm like hearing this whole story. You weren't even rejected. If you had told, I mean, even if you were rejected, who cares? But
I know.
even in this case, you weren't even rejected. She already has somebody.
Yeah, I get it.
So
I,
you still get all your points for doing it. And this is going to build you for the next time. And you're already
yeah,
feeling a little bit of that empowerment and increased self confidence because you acted on what you truly wanted. And that is so important for you as a person, as a man.
yeah.
So
And
I'm like, this
eventually
is
it's
a
going to take a
total
while.
win.
It's going to take a while for me to get back to my balance again,
Yeah.
but thank God for beer and alcohol because that's all I have to
But
say.
not too much. But yes, once in a while, it's okay.
Oh, it's
Okay.
been my
So
only friend apart from the guys at karaoke were sing with me. Those, it's just, but anyway, thanks for letting me share. I just thought I'd let you know I did it. I wasn't nervous, but
good.
the aftermath was devastating for me.
Right. You got triggered. It's and you are going to desensitize to these rejections now that you're more conscious about what's happening. See, in the past, before you found this work, the rejections all built into this vision of you that was negative as like as a loser and being rejected and all these ideas that you have about yourself. But now that you know this work, you can see, you become aware of these ideas, you can see the fallacy in them, and you're starting to change.
One of the
And
things she
so,
said, one of the things she said right after I had asked her, first thing she said was, I already have a partner.
mhm,
First she gave me that expression in her eyes. I'll never ever forget that. I don't ever want to have to see that look in a woman's eyes again. That just destroyed me. It was this look of absolute repulsion and just, oh no, he likes me.
no, I'm sure.
That's what it looked. But then,
Okay.
then she said, um, she's already has a partner. And then she said something about, I know it takes a lot of courage for you to do that, for people to do this. It takes a lot of guts. And I was just stammering. I was like, words were coming out of my mouth, but I can't remember them. It's all a blur.
Right.
I went into some sort of other dimension
Right.
and I just had to get the fuck out of there.
Okay.
And I walked away and people were coming up saying, hey, you sang really good. And I'm thinking, yeah, thank you too.
Right.
And I
So
just
you
got
were
out.
getting a lot of compliments. The silver lining of this night is you got a ton of compliments and a ton of support. And you even got your feelings cherished,
That's it. And
you know?
it's been a couple days. And like I said, I've been processing it. And I think it's been a couple of weird weeks for me. I found
Mm-hmm.
my teaching job that I had is canceled. I won't be teaching again, and other stressful things in my life. And so
It's a
the
weird time.
it's just been a weird couple ever
You're
since
not
the
the
4th
only
of
person
July. It's like
feeling that.
Mercury is in retrograde or something the last 2 weeks. I don't know, but that's my story. I appreciate you listening. And like I said, the positive is I'm really proud of myself because I actually did everything right, really.
Mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, what I did was I'm so proud of myself for just having the guts to do it. And
I
just,
am too. I am too. When I first heard your voice, I was like, oh, I hope he did it. And you did do it.
and I feel more human, but I'm aware of the wounds and the triggers. Like I use that
Yeah.
analogy of a rescue a dog. That's when they come out of rescue because they've been kicked and these poor animals have been treated so badly. My mom and dad have a rescue animal and it snaps at the most subtle things. They think you did nothing wrong, but they think
Right. And you can't really,
something's wrong.
it's sometimes with animals, you can't take that out of them. But with people, you
And it's
can't.
going to take a long time for me
Yeah.
because It's
No.
I've met thousands. I'm a good looking guy. I know women find me attractive, but
Yes, many women have
but
been giving you attention lately.
but then what they don't understand is these dating I some of these short, quick, and these whiplash experiences where they're there, then they're not, or they'll you end up spending $150 on a dinner with a woman you never see again and stuff like that. And it's just that those are the wounds from these people. I've met so many people over the years, and these dating apps are not helping, the ghosting and all the fake profiles and catfishing. And I've been
Mhm.
through it. I could write the book. I should start the dating meetup. I should, I mean, so
Well,
I'm
let's have
not,
you
that's not my
desensitize a little bit more
right.
because you're on the road. It's just still raw
Pass.
for you.
I'll pass to the next person. I'll be okay. I just need some
I
time to
know.
recover, and it's been a growth for me. So
Of course. And this
thank
is the
you,
part of the pain of change.
thank you for all the kind comments. I see the comments in the chat. I'll
Everybody wants to support you, Lee. And maybe, you know, yeah, I don't know. You are a sensitive guy. Maybe you do want to consider being in the feminine energy. But right now, don't make any. I'm with you. I'm supporting you 100%. I think, like I said, you did everything you could. We can't control outcomes. We're not God. None of us, I'm not God. None of us are God. So, you have to just do what you think is best and then, let the chips fall where they may. That, as I said last week, is the power position, is taking that step, not knowing what will happen, but doing it because it's authentic to you. You supported you. You supported you supported your own desires and wants. And so that was a new thing for you. And that in itself is going to be painful. It also didn't go the way you wanted, and that was triggering. But you're going to bounce back and you're going to use this to build on it. Okay. And I'm not saying you're a feminine guy, Lee. I'm just saying those are feminine traits, feelings. Okay. That's all. Okay. So excellent work. Chris.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi, welcome. How can I help you?
Hello. I have two questions. One, what's your opinion of the Mankind Project and those kind of men-centric or men only, I guess, kind of catharsis
Yeah, I know what you
bonding
mean.
type
Right. Yeah.
things? Okay. So that question, and then the other question I had, if I can, um, I wonder, do you do marriage counseling for people that have been married for a long time that are kind of looking for somebody to do that, or do
Yes.
you? Okay,
Yes.
so
I love, yeah.
that's your profession.
Yeah, I love working with couples. And in fact, a lot of people have success with me when they haven't had success with previous marriage counselors or therapists. Because this work has an impartiality to it. So the problem with a lot of marriage counseling is one of the partners, often the man, doesn't buy into it. But since there's a rubric with this work, I don't have that issue. And so both
Oh,
sexes
interesting.
end up benefiting, and it doesn't feel biased. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
regards the Mankind Project, I mean, I'm not familiar with that specific project. I know what you're talking about. And I generally think that, groups and bonding, if it resonates for you, go for it. But in my experience, some of these male bonding groups tend to be um sort of short and sweet. They're like intense and then they end. And they tend to have like a very short shelf life. It's interesting. It's like people are always like, where's the men's group? And I actually think that men now men now are more interested in some of these things because there's been so much change in society and so many things that were acceptable for men to do in the past, they're now being excoriated for, and they don't understand why, and they don't know why the rules have changed and that. But yeah, I mean, I think, they have a usefulness. I think it's a limited usefulness, if that's
Well, I mean, for this group, they have a local chapter in Ventura. They meet every other week, and I think there's 20 people more or less that go regularly. So they know each other, and every meeting they go around and talk about what's going on in their lives. They have some commitments to each other, and then they also do kind of a group therapy where people can stand and there's a guided kind of I don't know if that's called gestalt
oh yeah,
therapy.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I know what you mean.
so that's you can do that every 2 weeks if you want. If there's something that you need to get, they call it, there's clearing. So I don't know. It's kind of like you'd go to therapy, but it's
Right.
with a bunch of people and people that you know, supposedly for.
So generally men tend to be a little bit more thinking oriented than feeling oriented, which is one of the reasons why some of these groups aren't very long lived. But if it's resonating with you, check it out. You just have to be, these issues are sensitive, and I think you just have to be careful. Sometimes getting the wrong advice from the wrong person at the wrong time can be a bad thing. And so I just say tread
Yeah,
lightly, you know, um,
yeah,
because even people with licenses and credentials, I told a story
yeah.
recently about a very well-known psychiatrist who we were very excited to meet and turned out to just be a total POS.
Mhm.
Um, I wasn't really familiar with his work. I just knew that he was well known. So in that sense, it wasn't like a disillusionment about the person's work, but go resonate, see what your intuition's telling you. If you get something out of it, great. But just know that, some of these groups can also be a little bit culty. I don't do cult, but there are some people out here doing cult. And so you just have to be cognizant of that too.
Okay, okay,
So I just say tread lightly. But if it helps you, go for it.
okay. Good. Thank you.
You
Good
are
wisdom.
welcome. You are
Appreciate
so
that.
welcome. Okay. Okay. Susan.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi, Susan. How can I help you?
Yeah, it's kind of getting current. Plus, I do have a couple questions about
Okay.
dating. I was doing pretty well as far as getting dates with quality men when I joined a particular online dating site. And then after about 4 months, it kind of trickled down to nothing. So then I kind of got discouraged and I went off the sites for a month or two. And that wasn't really doing it. Was kind of worse because then there was no one to
Right.
go out with.
Okay.
So then I decided to rejoin. It's like, oh, so now I'm getting, I like getting that attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I think well, we'll see. This time, though, I kind of learned that doing like the video chats or the FaceTime is good before you meet. I mean, I always used to do a phone call. Well, now I start doing this video chat thing. I've done that a couple times because it's an additional filter before you spend your time and energy actually meeting someone in
Right.
person.
Good.
So I like that. And if they don't want to do it, then I figure, well, what are they hiding, or
Right.
why not?
Right.
So I
Right.
like that. I guess I'm a little unsure because maybe I'm not being quite picky enough. Like with appearance or fitness or whatever, but I guess I'll find out.
Yeah. I mean, and
And
that's
with
hard to see on a video chat.
oh, that's a good point too.
You can't like see someone's
Yeah.
body, and some people don't look good on camera either. So,
Yeah.
but it's nice to just
Well,
get a basic visual, and then you're dealing with a real person. So I understand that.
yes. Yeah. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, before I had a lot of deal breaker filters,
Mhm.
which I liked. I thought it served me well. I didn't have as many, but that was fine with me. I don't like to spend a lot of time swiping. I just want
Right.
the right guys. I don't care about how many dates. So this time I don't have as many. And well, we'll see. I guess that's something I can just sort of play with.
Yeah, you can play with it. I mean, that's one kind of like a drawback of the dating apps is sometimes those filters filter out people that you might be interested in, because we're not always great
Yeah.
at predicting. So yeah, definitely play with
Mm.
it and see. I recently had a client who had done kind of what you did, put a lot of deal breaker filters on, then same thing, wasn't really getting people, took a whole bunch of them off, and then met somebody. So,
Yeah.
and she likes him. Like they're in a relation, they just got into a relationship. So, maybe, yeah, so play with it a little. But I know she was like, well, this time I put this age range, and this time I didn't put an age range, and this time so she was experimenting.
Yeah.
You have a
So,
question?
I do. Okay, so yeah, the first part of the question was about the deal breaker thing.
Okay.
And the second part is I did a FaceTime with a guy a couple nights ago. And on, reading his profile and his pictures sounded great, just like he has great character. It sounded like he likes to travel, he's active. And then with the face thing, it's like, I don't know, he looks a little, well, I'm not sure, not as attractive as I would like, maybe not as fit, looks a little old. And so I'm like, but he still sounds like a great guy. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give him a date, right? And just kind of see. Or am I?
Yes, give him a chance,
That's what I
because
thought you'd
you
say.
want to
That,
be in the
yeah,
feminine, and feminine
yeah.
energy picks with their ears, not with their eyes. So if you're liking what
Yep.
you're hearing,
Oh,
go.
I do.
Okay,
And
then
I
go.
like how he talks. The conversation flowed. He still seems like a great guy. It's just, I'm not sure about the attraction piece, but I think I'd actually have to meet him to
Yeah,
see if that works out.
100%. And like the story I just told, you might have to kiss him to find out.
Yeah.
But if you're getting a lot of the other things, I think it's definitely worth a shot.
Okay. That's what I need to hear because
Okay.
I don't want to like lead him on, but we haven't even met, so I don't think you're leading somebody on. And
Right.
I truly might like this guy. So, and I can,
Good. Yeah.
I can look beyond the fact that, hey, we're aging and this and that. That's really hard for me to find any guys in my age range that I'm attracted to because of that. That some
Because
people aren't aging
because
that well.
youth is so yeah.
Fleeting.
We're very
Yeah.
prejudiced towards youth in this culture.
Yes.
It's part of the
So,
epi-scripting.
yeah.
Okay, give
So,
it a shot.
yeah, I think I'm, and there's been a couple other guys too that are very surprised that I sent them a like. And I think I feel like, I want to give that chance, and I might be onto something, that's like I'm not going for the male
I
model or
think you
whatever.
are onto something. Why don't you be the pretty one?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
true too. They're
Yeah,
appreciative. Yeah, they're like, wow.
exactly.
I know. The guy said to me, he goes, when we did the FaceTime, he's like, wow, you're beautiful, just like your pictures, or something like that. And it
Oh,
made
that's
me
so
feel good.
nice.
Yeah.
And
So,
I mean, everybody wants to be with somebody attractive, but I can tell you from experience that a lot of these extremely good-looking people, they tend to be liabilities because everyone
yes.
wants them, you know?
Yep.
And so there's just a lot more opportunity there.
Yep. My experience with my ex-boyfriend was that,
Yeah,
yeah, he liked all that attention, and so he can't commit to one
right,
because he
right.
doesn't want to give up all that attention.
All those strokes he's getting, right. So I love
Yep.
this shift for you, and I'm
Hmm.
really excited to hear what happens.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chloe.
Yay, you are so welcome.
Yeah.
And you guys know you can ask questions also about other people's work as well, in addition to your own questions. Okay. Wait, Susan, did you have another question? No? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, Luke.
Hello, Susan, or I'm sorry, Chloe, can you hear me?
That's okay. Hi, Luke. How can I help you?
Hi, first time here. Thank you, Susan.
Welcome.
Thank you, Lee. Yes, good to be here. So much good stuff in what was shared. I will be referring back to it in what I've got to share. The first thing I want to say is I'm looking for homework. That's my intention. I love homework and I love everything I'm hearing so far.
Yay.
So I'm just going to put that up front. I'm looking for expertise and feedback here. I think the crux of where I'm at right now is really dating apps versus meeting in person. So to give a little background, I'm 28, white guy in Ventura, 6'2", 170 pounds, skinny on the skinnier side, still rather fit, kind of in touch with the feminine side, a little more averse to my masculine side, but really comfortable with both parts of myself, I think. And I've grown a lot more comfortable over the years. I started really dating very seriously in 2010. I had two relationships in high school that were both cultivated through speech and debate in Ventura. And I took a really kind of, I'd say, passive role. I was shy, super anxious, and the girls back then took more of an interest in me. And I've really held on to that script the whole time, really. I want the beautiful woman to come in, take the masculine role and sweep me off my feet. And I'll be masculine when and where and, when I have to be. But I get scared and fearful of overstepping, as Lee brought up. I've dealt with very, very harsh rejection. And I don't want to dive too deep into the trauma bombing here, but I completely hear you, Lee. I've been there. I've spoken with a person for a long time and got the eye of a partner. The look in her eyes, I completely hear that. So that's part of my script that I'm working on. But then from 2016 to 2023, I've had 5 different partners that were all through different dating apps. And you name it, I've probably tried it as far as dating apps go. I could list like 10 or more of them I've used. They've all gotten me different experiences with different partners. But ultimately, I'm at a point now, as Susan brings up, where it's really my pickiness filter kicking into rather high gear, especially in a spiritual context. So what I mean by that is, as Susan brings up, I don't want to filter everyone out by saying, oh, I need a bodhisattva incarnate, right? I don't want to say that. But at the same time, I want to say, look, I've been around the block. I can name the names. I could talk about my visions and on and on. I don't want to create duality. I don't want to represent and reproject any spiritual arrogance. But at the same time, I feel that a need of mine in a relationship is a person with a spiritual vocabulary
Very
and
good.
experience. Yes. And that's so new for me. It's so new for me just to say that, because one of the hugest scripts that I've been carrying this whole time is the women I've loved are so amazing and beautiful and perfect and divine. I'll never find someone even as good as them, let alone someone better than them. So again, I'm reprojecting duality into it. I'm saying,
So why did those relationships end?
I didn't know what I didn't know. They ended in large part out of a fundamental lack of self-love as I understood it.
No, but
I've
like,
also,
did you break up with them? Did they break up with you?
you name it, I've been through it. I've cheated, I've been cheated on. I've
Okay.
broken up, I've been broken up with. I've had a great diversity of being the rejecter versus being rejected versus
I'm
somewhere
just
in
thinking,
between.
if these girls
Yeah.
were so great, why not like find them
Well,
again? One of them
yeah,
again,
this is exactly okay. Great question. So the way I dive into this then is with a person like Adyashanti and Mukti. Adyashanti and Mukti met as part of their spiritual practice. They met while they're both, I don't want to say convent. I'm forgetting the word for it. They both met as part of their practice. They were both, undergoing the rituals and period of the Buddhist
Okay.
expression
Right.
and so on, right? So then I look at that script and I go, I want that. I want deep spiritual love. At the same time, I have this inner script that contrasts it with someone like U.G. Krishnamurti. U.G. Krishnamurti, in the level of, his biological state, the natural state he describes, he says when he attained this state, he found there were, hundreds of other humans like this. But in his estimation, from what I've read so far of his book, The Natural State, it's not something you may see every day. Now, I have heard other people say you have hundreds of soulmates. Okay, beautiful. Absolutely. That's quite a lovely thing. But the crux of where I'm at now is this distinction between meeting in person, surrendering and letting the divine or whatever whisk me off my feet and just abnegating all personal will and responsibility, which I don't want to do. I don't entirely want to leave it like that because I do have a strong masculine active side. So my masculine active side leads me back into dating apps. Now,
Right.
dating apps, I'm trying to cast the right net. I'm trying to be not picky. I'm trying to have standards and needs and make those needs met and known and felt. And yet when I try and do that, just recently, for example, there was this girl, the conversation went well. We were going to have a date. And then she said, okay, can we do a rain check? I'll meet next week. My friend got a ticket to a festival. And this was a good time for me to say, okay, you've given me a good, so to speak, way out here. Because in the conversation she had, she referred to the local Ventura surf scene as quote unquote gay, not meaning, oh, all the men and women are gay, but meaning gay in a pejorative sense.
Right.
And I noticed her say that, but I thought, oh, I have fresh eyes. I don't need to be offended, blah, blah, blah. But then what she said left me a chance to just say, okay, no, thanks. I'm not a reschedule kind of person. You're either in it 100% or you're not.
I think that's pretty harsh for the first date. I mean, sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's exactly,
Okay, so let me interrupt you. Let me
problem.
interrupt you. Okay, you've
Yes,
given me a
thank you,
lot of
Chloe.
info and I have had
Thank
a
you.
lot of ideas already. So, which do you want more in your relationship? Do you want your feelings cherished or do you want your thoughts respected? Everybody wants both, but in an awkward situation, in a conflict, which is more important to you? Hello? Oh, you muted yourself. Okay. I'm like, you're really thinking about it there.
Yes, no, absolutely, I was.
Okay.
Okay, can you explain that question?
Okay. Do you want, look, everybody wants both, but when we have a conflict or there's an awkward situation, it's helpful, like first dates, it's helpful for you to understand which is more important for you. Because if you and I are having a fight and I come at you with all my thoughts and feelings, where are you? You have to be a 0 and I'm a 10. So the idea behind this complementary energy, this complementary communication, also known as conscious communication, because it's the balance of feminine and masculine energy, is that you take up one side and I take up the complementary side. Those are the most successful relationships. Otherwise, we have a struggle for, if I'm taking thoughts and you're taking thoughts, then we have a struggle for control. If I'm taking feelings and you're taking feelings, then we have a struggle for sympathy and who's crying more. Okay. That's like, if you've ever noticed when you have a conflict with someone and you go, you hurt my feelings. And then they go, well, you hurt my feelings. Then what happens? Nothing.
Right. Right.
Right? So this helps you resolve these conflicts and actually avoid conflicts. And in our society, we tend to be, just as a result of living here on earth, we tend to get thrown out of balance. And one side, especially if we're having trouble in relationships, it's usually because we're dystonic, or one side has been somewhat neglected in our own self, right? Like I said in the beginning, it's all about this work is all about energy and ultimately about the relationship that you have with yourself. Because even if I'm in a marriage, I still am waking up with myself every day, right?
Right.
And the loneliest feeling is when you desert yourself, right? When you go against yourself. And as children, we often have to do that because we have to attach to the people that own the refrigerator. It's a matter of survival. But as grown-ups, we don't have to do that. We can be authentic. And that's one of the big differences between being a child and being a grown-up. So if you're in a conflict with somebody, what do you want to have happen? Do you want your thoughts respected or your feelings cherished more?
I would rather have my thoughts respected.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
the masculine role. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means you are going to be, I'm giving you homework. You're going
Okay,
to
I'm
be
writing it down.
flirting in person 5 days a week. Okay.
Oh my God, that's my nightmare. Flirting in person
Yes.
5 days a week.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Wow, that is perfect. Wow.
And 4 of those are going to be just in the course of your day, whatever you're doing. If you're walking your dog, if you're going to the supermarket, if you're getting your coffee, if you see someone you like, you're going to give her 5 seconds of eye contact and smile.
Oh, goodness.
And if she returns that, that's the sign you know you can make your approach. Lee brought up something very interesting that he hadn't brought up before, because we've been following the saga of this, him asking out this girl on the date. And I didn't know this before, but he said he never got the eye contact.
Ah.
Okay. And so this girl, if she has a partner, is probably not going to be giving eye contact to strange men or other single men, right?
I see.
So you gotta look, that eye contact is your green flag to approach. Okay.
Okay.
Now, 1 day a week, I want you to plant yourself somewhere, and just, you know, you can play with it a little, but go somewhere where you like the girls who are there, and you think you might be able to meet somebody, and bring a book or your phone or whatever, stay 45 minutes to an hour. And that way, if somebody comes in and you like them, you have a chance to, ask them to sit down, buy them a coffee, give them a handkerchief, whatever it is. And the good thing about that is if you start going to a regular spot, you'll start getting to know people and seeing them regularly. And that's always easier to ask, like Lee did with this karaoke thing. It's always easier to ask somebody out from after they've known you. That's why people do well when they date people that they got to know at work, because you get to know somebody without all that pressure, right? Of making dates and all that. Okay. So
Right.
that's going to be your 1 day a week. And then your other 4 days are going to be those flirts on the move. So that's 5 flirts a week. You are going to meet people this way. Now, are you, when you make your approach, you don't need to be too labored about it. Just do something obvious, say something cherishing, because you want your thoughts respected. You're going to be cherishing her feelings, So if you see a girl that you like, you've had the eye contact and smile, for example, let's say you're sitting in a Starbucks and you notice that she's shivering and the door's open, you might get up and close the door and say, "Hey, I noticed you were shivering." That would be cherishing her feelings, right? How do you feel? Things like that. So it takes a little practice to really understand what respecting your thoughts and cherishing your feelings means. But that's for you to sort of explore. So try these 5 flirts a week. If you want to get off the dating apps for now because it's too confusing, do so. I really think meeting in person is a lot more effective. I do have clients and I know people who've met people on apps. But if you're only going to do one, do the in real life.
Right.
And there's a lid for every pot. So I know rejection is discouraging, but it's part of the game. It happens like 80% of the time, at least, and you could be the thing is to not take it personally, because the person rejecting you doesn't know you. It just means you're not aligned. Lee and that girl aren't aligned because she's already got somebody. It's not personal to him. He's not an asshole. I know he said that the look was bad, but I also know that he's bringing some energy to that look and some scripting to that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
if somebody on the street throws a rock at your car, you're not going to take it personally, right?
Right.
I was driving on the farmer's market the other day, and I came too close to a woman on her bike, and she yelled at me, "Do you want to die today, bitch?"
Oh my goodness.
I laughed. I mean, I don't even know you. Why would that hurt my feelings? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it could, if you're, what I'm if I was in a triggered moment, or if I was, thinking about something or whatever, that might have hit me and really hurt me. I don't, it's possible. So I'm just saying, try to be aware of what is actually happening. Like, what I'm saying is, in Lee's situation, he wasn't really rejected. The girl has a boyfriend,
Right.
so it's just like, it's nobody. If someone rejects you, they're not threatening your personhood. They're not saying you don't have a right to walk the earth. They're just.
I so hear that. I'm kind of looking at, as Lee brought up, I feel I might be in a similar kind of place. There's this cute girl at the Ventura Buddhist temple, and I've been seeing her quite a bit. The hesitation, my inner scripting is saying, well, if you ask her out and make that move, you might ruin it for her, right? You might ruin the experience going there, but by making a move, ruin her enjoyment, ruin her happiness, her spiritual connection, whatever it may be.
No. I don't know. I mean, you're literally saying that your presence, that you're asking her out, that you're basically giving her that compliment is going to ruin her experience. I think you're taking too much responsibility on. You don't even really know this person.
Right.
And that, why would she, and that sounds very scripty to me, because it's like, why would you assume that that your presence is a burden? That's a childhood message.
Yeah.
Some of us have been taught as children that merely our presence is a burden.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hearing there.
Yeah.
So just know that that's a scripted message and proceed regardless. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we get to a place where we don't have fear or insecurities. It's just that we're like, oh, okay, that's irrational. I'm just going to ask her out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me know how it goes. I'm going to wrap it up now.
Okay.
Thank you guys for coming. I usually do this for an hour. I will put my credentials back in here. You guys can also get a recording of this meeting on YouTube or the podcast, and you can reach out if you have questions, if they're little questions. But a lot of times people are reaching out now lately with pretty meaty questions, which is fine. It's just, I want you guys to understand, then we have to set up a session. If I can't answer quickly, then we have to set up a session. But I will set that barrier. You don't have to worry about reaching out. You can do so. So yeah, we can set up a session. We can talk next week. I look forward to hearing from you and to everybody doing their homework. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.